In this video, I record a fast train. I record a really fast train. I record more fast trains. For the second year in a row, I went down to New York City by train in between Christmas and New Year's as a little festive trip. I started off here in New Haven and took a few pictures of the engines that were chilling inside the station. And after catching a Metro North that was exiting the yard, we got onto our train that would take us to the Big Apple. While waiting in the car, I noticed that there was an Acela leaving, so I taped that through the window while trying not to get noticed by anyone that I was filming over. As we left New Haven, I took a time-lapse of the yard that Metro North and CT Rail have there. This yard, which was originally under the ownership of the New York and New Haven Railroad in 1867, has seen railroads such as the New Haven Railroad, Penn Central, Conrail, and currently Amtrak, CT Rail, and most notably Metro North. The yard features a diesel repair shop, thousands of storage tracks, an engine washing and cleaning facility, a rainbow of different Amtrak and CT Rail engines and rolling stock, and plenty of cookie-cutter, identical, boring Metro North M8 train sets. Speaking of Metro North, over in Bridgeport, Metro North has an engineering inspection vehicle numbered IC 2020. I'll get into that in a second because I want to explain this next clip. Here I was filming Bridgeport skyline when I got jump scared by a random Metro North BL20GH that was also going around the tight Bridgeport curve. Seeing a Metro North or CT Rail diesel here on this very curve is a weird habit of mine, but I'll talk about that in a later video. Going back to Metro North's engineering inspection vehicle, this masterpiece of a maintenance engine features a laser-guided track geometry system that measures any defects, the alignment, curvature, or twist of track at any speed, a ride quality measuring system, a joint bar measuring system, a system that measures if the track is widening, a system that monitors the interaction between the flange wheels and the rail's surface, and a catenary maintenance measurement and imaging system, just to name a few. This thing is a beast of a maintenance vehicle and is a real asset to Metro North's arsenal. I knew that we would be passing the virtual Railfan South Norwalk camera, so I waved to the camera while recording my time on the feed. I know that I started waving early, but to my credit, I didn't know when I would come into frame of the camera. I checked the feed later and you could barely see me, so it was a useless endeavor. By the time the next train had passed, the sun was at just the worst height to illuminate the dust and grime on the window to make my annoying phone camera focus on the grime on the window instead of the train I'm trying to record. Down the line, I don't know what kind of third eye premonition dream vision I had, but something made me start recording out the window and I captured this masterpiece of a video. I'll shut up and let you enjoy it. That video is one of my favorite catches I've ever gotten. I've used that clip in so much promotional material like my channel trailer and the 4th of July video just because it's so good. Not only are the trains going really fast, but we passed one of Metro North's P32 ACDMs, which I love to see more than the same old Metro North M8s. While I was recording some maintenance vehicles in Stamford, I inadvertently caught a Metro North M8 that was racing another Metro North M8, leading to this really cool 1-2 race. While I was taking videos that day, I have no idea what made me push the camera to the side when each train was passing. It makes the videos look pretty jerky, and when I was looking back at the footage later on that day, I remember getting more and more annoyed with myself every time I watched a video that got knocked to the side. I wasn't angry, just disappointed. Eventually, I got caught off guard by the first Metro North Harlem Line Bombardier M7A I saw that day, which was immediately followed by another M7A that I recorded correctly. After one last M8 to round out our first train ride of the day, we descended into the subway, where I made the mistake of focusing on the trains I'm recording and not what's going on around me. In doing so, I accidentally recorded people on video that probably didn't want to be on video. This mistake is partly justifiable in the sense that I was much younger when I was doing this and didn't have as much of an awareness when it comes to recording trains. I even kept the camera straight on the driver of one of the subway trains, and I got lucky that he didn't notice me. Of course, nowadays I know better to point my camera straight at people because not everyone is okay with being recorded, and most people don't like having a camera pointed at them, which is something that should have been obvious enough to me during the time that this was happening. At one subway station, there was a balcony that overlooked the tracks, and I got a cool opportunity to see above the subway train. Then, while on the platform, I got to see two subways entering the station at the same time. We got on one of the subways and both trains departed together, which led to the two racing each other through the tunnels of the New York City subway. But since we were on the local subway and not the express, the train we were racing sped off away from us as we stopped for another station. But as we were leaving that station, another express pulled up alongside us and we started racing that one. You can see the beams and bars of the New York City subway tunnels whizzing in between us as the two subway cars barrel towards the next station. We arrived into the next station together where, of course, our car stopped right in front of a staircase so I couldn't see the other train. When we were leaving, as the two trains joined back together, I caught some major sparking under the wheels of our partner train. This comes from the third rail under the subway car, which supplies powers to the motors to run the train. There must have been some debris on the rail, or it got disconnected for a second to cause that massive sparkage. After recording the last few subways, we returned back to Grand Central for our train home. The sun had started going down, so all of the videos from now on will be in dark mode. While there was still some light left, we started passing a Metro North train with a P32 ACDM at the back, but that got covered up by an M8 train set that was passing ahead of it, which then got covered up by a Metro North Harlem Line train passing that on the closest track. Thankfully, both Metro North EMUs cleared so I could see the Metro North P32 ACDM at the back of the first train of this three-way all Metro North race. Since all of the rest of the videos are going to be dark like this, I'll just showcase the videos that have something interesting about them. If you'd like to see all the videos that I got this night, go check out the unedited video down in the description. In there is also a lot of cool things that we saw while in New York City. Anyway, in a similar fashion to the ride south in the morning, when we were returning back north, we passed a Metro North P32 at considerable speed. You can even hear the P32 rumbling by us. Here is a similar video where we passed a Metro North M8 while at speed. If you look at the front of the lead car, you'll notice that there was only the single headlight on. That's because just like when you're driving on the road at night and have to dim your high beams when passing another car, train drivers also have to turn on their headlights when passing another train so they don't blind the other driver. On the same note, here is us passing an Amtrak ACS 64 quickly on the close track. When looking back through my footage, I was surprised to find out that this video was the first time I saw an ACS 64 on this trip. It took 64 trains in a whole day before I saw an engine that is normally very common on the Northeast Corridor. I then saw another ACS 64 where in the video I'm filming a cityscape and then in literally 2 frames the entire engine has covered up the camera. And before we knew it, we had returned to New Haven. This trip was fun from start to finish and goes to show why the Northeast Corridor is such a fun place to railfan. Yes, the trains always look the same and you'll be hard-pressed to ever see any type of heritage unit, but it's a hotbed for fast trains and consistent action. No matter where you place yourself, you'll be pulling out your camera in a matter of minutes, during peak hours of course. Now if you'll excuse me, I have to go defuse a bomb. Thank you for watching, have a terrific day.